Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever looked out at a forest, a quiet field, or maybe even just that potted pothos sitting on your desk and thought about how perfectly peaceful and still it all seems? When we think about communication, our minds naturally go straight to humans talking, dogs barking, birds singing. Plants, well, firmly rooted in the dirt, they just seem like silent, passive scenery. But modern science is revealing a completely mind-bending reality. Plants are absolutely not passive, and they certainly aren't silent. They're constantly talking to each other, engaging in this incredibly complex dialogue that is literally a matter of life and death. On one hand, we have our standard human perception, right? A quiet, isolated, passive forest. But the biological reality? It's essentially a frantic, invisible group chat. Because they can't simply pack up their roots and run away from danger, plants have had to evolve highly sophisticated survival strategies. So beneath that calm green landscape we all admire, they're frantically exchanging warning signals, sharing vital resources, and even recruiting tiny microscopic mercenaries when they're under attack from things like drought, insects, or disease. Which brings us to a pretty provocative question for our journey today. What if the plants around you are talking right now? Today, we're going to peel back the invisible layers of a forest to completely decode this hidden language. We're going to explore the incredibly sophisticated ways plants communicate through the air, beneath the soil, and even internally. Trust me, it's going to completely reshape your understanding of intelligence in the natural world. Let's move to and see how this builds, starting with Layer 1, Airborne Chemical Warning Systems. Picture a tomato plant getting munched on by a hungry caterpillar. It doesn't just sit there and take it. It actually emits specific volatile molecules right into the air. And get this, nearby tomato plants detect those airborne molecules and will literally activate their own defense genes before the insect even reaches them. It is a highly effective, localized airborne early warning system. Let's catalog this chemical vocabulary for a second. Jasmonic acid, that's released during physical damage, like a bug biting a leaf, to wake up neighboring defenses. Salicylic acid acts almost like a warning flare for disease resistance, especially against bacterial and fungal infections. Ethylene is a gaseous hormone that signals environmental stress. And green leaf volatiles, those are the immediate danger signals released the exact second a leaf gets injured. When neighboring plants catch wind of this chemical cocktail, they proactively produce toxic compounds, thicken up their cell walls, and generate defensive proteins to brace for impact. But hey, the conversation isn't just happening up in the air. Let's look beneath the soil at Layer 2, the underground fungal internet. You might have heard of this extraordinary underground system. It's often called the Wood Wide Web. It's formed by microscopic fungi called mycorrhizae, and it physically links multiple plants together, building vast, sprawling networks right beneath the soil. Think of these fungal filaments almost like biological internet cables, literally tying the entire forest floor into one massive interconnected grid. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly what flows through these biological internet cables, because it's not just basic data. A diseased plant can actually push chemical warning signals through the fungal network to tell its neighbors, hey, there's an invading pathogen. Drought-stressed plants can trigger water conservation responses in plants they're connected to miles away. And most amazingly, nutrient-rich plants will actually transfer carbon to support weaker, struggling plants in the network. It's a highly sophisticated, deeply cooperative system happening right under our feet. From that massive underground web, we're going to shift our focus a bit closer to the plant itself with Layer 3, electric signals, and soil microbes. Look, we all know plants don't have brains, right? But their internal wiring is remarkably dynamic. When a plant gets wounded or infected, rapid electrical impulses shoot through its tissues. These act exactly like nerve signals in animals to coordinate an internal defense response. We've all seen videos of the Venus flytrap using electrical signaling to snap its trap shut. But the crazy thing is, ordinary plants do this too. They generate electrical responses under stress to process information, detect environmental changes, and coordinate defenses. It is a brilliant display of biological intelligence, completely devoid of a centralized brain. And this brilliantly illustrates how that internal intelligence translates into external chemical alliances in warfare. When faced with a stressor, say a disease, a plant specifically alters compounds called root exudates. It pumps these into the soil to recruit billions of helpful microorganisms to suppress the pathogens. If it's facing fierce competition for sunlight or water, it might release allelopathic compounds to literally inhibit the growth of competing plants nearby. Or it might partner up with beneficial bacteria for better nutrient absorption.
It's just a constant, dynamic negotiation with the billions of microbes living in the dirt.
Let's pull all of this together and see it in action with the priming defense during a viral attack. Let's look at exactly how a plant prepares for a threat way before it physically arrives. Imagine a virus hits just one single plant on the very edge of a field. Step 1, the infected plant immediately produces defense-related hormones. Step 2, volatile signals are launched into the air. Step 3, neighboring, completely healthy plants detect those signals. And step 4, those healthy neighbors instantly activate their own defense genes. This phenomenon is known as priming. Because they were given a heads up, these primed plants respond way faster and with much greater force when the virus finally reaches them. They essentially boost their natural immunity based purely on intercepted chatter. Which brings us to a thrilling turning point in this story, the future of AI and smart farming. Because think about it, if plants are constantly broadcasting all of this rich, detailed data about their health, their stress levels, their environment, it leads us to a massive question. Can humanity learn to listen to this hidden language? With climate change putting heavier and heavier stress on our global food supply, figuring out how to tap into this unseen world might literally be the key to protecting our crops and completely revolutionizing agriculture. Well, the good news is emerging tech is finally allowing scientists to do exactly that. We're now combining artificial intelligence with biosensors, nanotechnology, and hyperspectral imaging to detect plant stress signals in real time. We are even using acoustic sensing. Believe it or not, some studies suggest that heavily stressed plants actually emit ultrasonic sounds. Basically, they're letting out high-pitched acoustic signals just beyond the range of human hearing. By layering these technologies, we can monitor the plant's communication right as it happens. When we translate this tech into precision agriculture, the practical applications are just staggering. We can achieve early disease detection way before any visible symptoms ever show up on the leaves. AI-driven systems can monitor the communication patterns to predict outbreaks before they spread across a field. What this means is farmers could drastically reduce pesticide use by triggering natural plant defenses instead of just blanket spraying chemicals. Systems could even optimize irrigation automatically based purely on drought-stress chatter. So the crucial point is that listening to plants actually allows us to build vastly more resilient and sustainable farming practices. It all leads to this profound conclusion. The integration of AI with plant signaling science could revolutionize global food security. By successfully decoding the microscopic communication happening right now in the soil and the air, we can dramatically impact our macroscopic survival. It's this incredible, almost sci-fi intersection of ancient biological networks and cutting-edge machine learning. Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, from airborne chemical warnings and the Wood Wide Web, all the way to AI-driven smart farms. But I really want to leave you with a thought to carry into your everyday life. The next time you take a walk through a forest or a field, or honestly even just past a neighborhood garden, remember, beneath that assumed silence, a massive, invisible conversation is taking place. A complex, cooperative, and highly intelligent network is buzzing all around you. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else might nature be saying, just waiting for us to finally learn how to listen?